Um, Hello, guys. My name is Mecha Gonzilla, or my real name is Zachary Shore. And I just want to let you guys know like what's happening right now, this current world we're living in, with the coronavirus, and the fact that there is just crazy amount of protests and riots going on and people looting and I just want to share my view about it since I am in the military in the States Air Force. I've done my 4 years as active duty, and right now I'm in the reserves. Have like 2 more years left, I believe. So um I am Filipino, and I've dealt with racism before, and especially in the gaming community as well. Real life and gaming. But um, when I watched the video of George Floyd being put down by the cops due to forgery, I was just so I was shocked. And I was thinking to myself like, oh, it's going to be one of those videos again, and there's going to be a protest. Um, and I was right. You know, it hit my phone, and what I learned from the military that we have different levels of force, you know. Even though I'm not a cop, I'm a maintainer basically for uh aircraft, you know, but more specifically on electrical environmental systems, like gaseous, oxygen, nitrogen, like, those type of environmental systems and air conditioning and such pressurization. But like I just wanted to share you a story, like what happened to me that that I've seen, because I just wanted to make my point across that racism still exists, and sometimes like it's so funny because like slavery was abolished and there's not that much racism, but you know I still feel like racism is still very much alive. It's just in the shadows now. And one story was when I was stationed in Minot. Me and my friends from the Air Force would go to Canada, and it will be a 3 day weekend. But I don't know what holiday it was. Hard for me to remember since it's a very long time now. But we were drinking, in a club, having a good time. Then we decided to go to McDonald's after the club to, you know, eat and sober up. So after we ordered food from McDonald's, there would be these group of probably Canadian locals, and they were white. And what I noticed is that they were just being rowdy, and they left a mess at like the place, man. Like, and the only workers were mostly or entirely just Indian people. And like the Indian people were, they weren't like being like they weren't angry at all. They were just like calm about it, and they're just trying to do their job and cleaning up the place. But then they're just continuing to be rowdy. And one of them saw us, or me and my other friend who was Asian. They threw an empty fry holder at us and an empty cup. So I was like confused, and I was like so mad that I wanted to like beat the shit out of this guy, right? And my other friend who was white, that also served in the Air Force, stood up in front of them and said, "Hey, this is not tolerable. Why don't you guys get out? Like these are my friends. Like take your business somewhere else, not here." And I gotta thank that guy because I was ready because like where I'm from, like New York City, like we don't tolerate that shit. Like we would we would actually fight, you know. But I gotta thank my friend for that, for you know standing up for us since we're not white, and he's a good friend of mine too. Like what I've learned from that moment or situation is that if I were or if I get the chance to do violence, then you know it would just lead up to more violence. So, because what he did just verbal, and it worked. But I've faced racism in the gaming community as well. Like it will be my first time streaming, and it's just hard for me because I'm not like white, and some people would just bash on me and be and saying racial slurs, insulting me, you know, calling me, the N word and shit. But sometimes like it's tough. It's tough being like not a white person that's streaming because of that. But um like all I gotta say is that um hold on. All I gotta say is we have to stand united, and we always have to do good things. And I keep telling people that, you know, this fighting will never end if we just keep like fighting amongst each other with violence, because violence doesn't solve violence at all. Think about the wars that we've been through. Like these wars now are getting more complicated, and you can't just like target a country because they're doing so unjust, because there's a consequence for that. You know? Because they're allied with that, and then we need them for this, for resources. If we do that, then we cut off our resources, and the state that we're in, you know, yeah, it's just fucking crazy, man. But I don't want to get too political because I'm not supposed to talk about politics because I'm still in the military, and streaming. I don't want to like have people to just judge me from what I say, but this is just from my standpoint. And let me just go back to the George Floyd incident with the cop. I feel like that cop, you know, was confused. He was like highly stressed and kind of lost. And I get it. Like cops, being a cop is a difficult job. One of the like hardest or toughest jobs out there. With military and being in the medical, it's hard because you have to make the split decision Always. Oh, you always gotta make that split decision whether or should I pull the gun on him or should I not. But it's really like unnecessary for him to put his knee like that on the guy that was unarmed, you know. And the only crime he did was forgery. Like a lot of people forge, you know, for signatures, and you know, I just feel like that was the not the right proper use of force. Like even though I'm not a cop, but we were still like kind of trained in it in the Air Force. Even though we're maintainers, we're still taught that just in case we need to detain someone when there's no cops around or there's no MPs or military police. But all I gotta say is like violence won't solve anything at all. But like we have to do more positive things. We have to be united now or never, as like one nation. You know, can't be separated because once we have people who has a race separated from another race, you know, then it's just bad on us because you know my crazy theory, and you don't have to believe it, is like what if the same shit would happen again, you know, with Christopher Columbus colonizing people and then slavery is like introduced. What if like a higher being just invades us and just, you know, wipe us out or, you know, make use of us? Because I don't believe that we are the only one in this universe. I feel like there are higher beings, more advanced and a lot more intellectual than us. I feel like they're spectating us and they're waiting for an opportunity for us to be, you know, at the very bottom. I know it's a scary theory, but you don't have to believe it. Um, but all I have to say is rest in peace to George Floyd and condolences on his family. And just know that everyone who's hearing this will eventually get that message across. Like share this, you know, because I've dealt with that for some time now, and to spread positivity, to spread positivity, and